What is the spiritual dream meaning of a wedding? What if the most watched wedding in human history was actually the most desperate cry for help the world never even heard?
750 million. That's how many people tuned in to watch Diana Spencer walk down the aisle, a global audience completely captivated by a fairy tale. But what they were really watching was the start of a hidden, desperate story.
You know, the cameras caught her fumbling Charles's names during the vows, and the whole world just kind of laughed it off as nerves. But it wasn't nerves. It was the sound of a young woman's soul literally fracturing under the pressure of a union it had never, ever consented to.
Before all of this, Diana had these recurring dreams of being trapped, of falling. She actually told her biographers she felt a profound sense of doom walking toward that altar. See, her spiritual intuition, that deep gut feeling that lives way below logic, was screaming a warning. She just didn't have the language to understand it yet.
And what came next was this long public unraveling. A life that was just stitched together from obligation and illusion. The isolation, the eating disorder, the self-harm, it was all there. It took her years for that spiritual reckoning to finally happen, years to learn how to trust those inner signals she'd been taught to ignore. And in the end, she didn't survive long enough to fully live as herself. And that heartbreaking cost is exactly why this matters so much to you.
So, how does Diana's story actually connect to you? Why does this dream, the wedding dream, keep showing up for you?
Let's be really clear. When a wedding shows up in your dream, your psyche is not wasting your time on decor or flower arrangements. This is urgent. This is high priority mail. It shows up because something in your waking life is getting close to a binding commitment, and your soul needs you to be conscious before you walk down any kind of aisle in real time.
So you have to ask yourself right now, what are you about to commit to? And be honest. Do you genuinely want it, or are you just doing what's expected?
And what about you? What parts of yourself are you being asked to give up for this new chapter? What's the real price of this union? Or maybe it's something else entirely. Maybe there's a different union you've been avoiding, a commitment to your own purpose, your own wholeness, that this dream is demanding you finally face. Look, these are not just rhetorical questions, they are lifelines. This dream, it matters so much more than you might realize, and there are some really powerful frameworks that explain exactly why it's so significant. In Jungian psychology, this dream is one of the most sacred images there is. It's called the hieros gamos, or sacred marriage. But here's the key. This isn't about some external partner. It's the psyche's way of talking about the union of opposites inside of you. So you've got these two sides of the coin. On one hand, you have the spiritual why from Jung, the integration of your conscious self with your shadow. But then cognitive science gives us the how. It tells us that dreams are your brain processing emotional data that your waking mind just can't handle in the daylight. The dream is surfacing a hidden pattern, begging you to bring it into the light so you can finally work with it. And this brings us to a really critical point. This dream is not just about romance, not at all. A wedding dream isn't just about love. It's about every single significant bond in your life. It's a referendum on your relationship with your career, with your own body, with your sense of self-worth. It's about all the dreams you buried because someone else's comfort felt more important than your own truth.
So what's the takeaway here? Where do we go from here with this?
Let's go back to Diana for a second. Her tragedy wasn't just that she had the wrong wedding. It was that she didn't yet know she was even allowed to ask what it all meant, to her, spiritually, not just to the institution.
You are allowed to ask.
In fact, you're asking right now. That's exactly why you're here.
So what is the most important intelligence your dreams are handing you this year? The answer could change everything. You have to treat it that way.
Part 2.
Right. And listen, those details are the message. They're literally the difference between a warning you act on and a truth you just ignore until that window slams shut. So let's get right into it. Okay, first things first. Let's be crystal clear about something. Most of these dreams, they have absolutely nothing to do with romance. They are a direct, unflinching diagnosis of your relationship with yourself. So you're dreaming you're the bride? Look, it's not about some other person. It's your own psyche screaming at you to finally commit to your truth, to that path you know you've only been half living. And that ex that keeps showing up? Forget him. The dream is forcing your hand, making you integrate a lesson from that chapter of your life that you've been actively avoided. Okay, now for the one that really gets deep. You dream you're marrying a complete stranger. But that person, the one you've never laid eyes on before? Yeah, That's not another person.
Here's the thing you have to understand. That stranger is you. It's your shadow self, all your unlived potential. It is literally the version of yourself you've been too terrified to become, and your soul is staging a full-on wedding just to force the introduction.
So don't just sit there and analyze it, you have to act on it. What 3 qualities did that stranger have? I want you to write them down, right now. Those are the qualities you're being called to reclaim, and you need to start today. This isn't a suggestion, it's a direct, non-negotiable assignment from your subconscious.
All right, let's switch gears and talk about the dreams that feel more like nightmares. And listen, these aren't just your run-of-the-mill anxiety dreams. No, these are urgent, flashing red light warnings from your subconscious. You need to pay attention.
And we have to be super clear on the difference here, okay? A wedding that gets canceled in your dream, that's actually a merciful message. Your soul is literally telling you this commitment is wrong, and it's giving you permission to get out. But a chaotic wedding, totally different story. That's just your mind handing you a map of all your real-world fears, the ones you refuse to even look at in the daylight.
And then there's this one. The one that wakes you up in a cold sweat with your heart just pounding out of your chest. This is pure abandonment terror, made vivid and visceral.
But here's the twist, and you need to hear this. It's not about them leaving you. It's about you abandoning yourself. That person who runs away from the altar? That's the part of you that bolts every single time a real commitment asks you to show up, be fully present, and actually be seen.
So what's underneath it all? It's this core belief, this toxic code running everything in the background. If I am fully known, I will be abandoned. That's it. And your dream is dragging it out into the light and forcing you to finally look at it.
Look, there is only one next step here. Don't journal about it. Don't just talk to a friend over coffee. This kind of core belief, it requires professional intervention. Therapy is not optional. Your dream is sounding an alarm bell, telling you to get help now.
Okay, let's shift gears. Because some dreams aren't actually about you making a commitment. They're about your readiness for what's coming next. And, just as importantly, who is standing with you as you face it.
This next one, this is one of the most spiritually potent images your psyche can possibly send you. You dream of a wedding dress. You might even be wearing it, but there's no ceremony, no wedding.
I need you to understand, this is not a message of failure. It is a message of timing. The dress means you are ready. You've done the work. You've become the person you needed to be. So please stop telling yourself you're not prepared.
Your dream just handed you a memo. You are ready. So what is the one action, the one move you've been endlessly postponing? This is your mandate. You've got 48 hours, go. And what if you're just a witness at someone else's wedding? Well, that's a huge warning against comparison. Your dream is telling you to stop watching their life and start living your own. And if you're the one getting married, but there are no guests, that's your soul flagging your isolation. You're making big commitments all alone. The real question is, who are you going to let in?
Okay, finally, let's talk about the vow itself. The commitment, the setting of your dream, the symbols in it. They tell you everything you need to know about the promises you're making and the ones you're breaking.
So if the wedding is in a sacred space, like a church, that's your psyche telling you to take some commitment in your life more seriously. It deserves reverence. And dreaming of a wedding ring, that almost always points to a promise you made to yourself a long time ago, one you've quietly let go of. Your dream is telling you it's time to renew that contract.
And then there's this dream, the one that just feels like a gift. You're a guest at a wedding, you feel genuinely happy, and you're just there celebrating the union. Okay, listen, this one isn't a puzzle you have to solve. This is pure, unadulterated validation from the inside out. It's your soul giving you a big green light, telling you, keep going, you're on the right path, stop second-guessing yourself. So stop waiting for some sign from the outside world. Stop waiting for permission from someone else. Your own soul just gave you all the validation you need. The message couldn't be more simple or direct. Move. Your subconscious is talking. It's laying out a roadmap, it's giving you warnings, it's offering you validation. So the question isn't what the dreams mean anymore, is it? The real question is, are you finally listening?
Part 3. So let's get right into it. This isn't about what you're going to do someday. This is about what you are going to do now. We're moving way beyond just understanding the dream. It's time to act on its command. I'm talking to you. Yeah, you, the one with 1,000 notebooks, the one who researches everything to death but somehow stays completely frozen. Your assignment is specific. Look at this timeline. 5 minutes? 30 days? This is not a friendly suggestion. It's a protocol. Your dreams are not random noise you've been sleeping through. They are urgent communications. Missing them? It's like ignoring your doctor's calls, day after day. And what about the woman who feels it all? The joy, the grief, the hope, so intensely that it's paralyzing. You get stuck in that ocean of emotion, and the action just never follows. Here's your bridge from feeling to actually doing. Let's be crystal clear. This is not some whimsical game. This is a therapeutic grounding act. A wedding dream about you is inviting a real union with yourself, so you have to give it one. I vow to honor my intuition is nice, but it becomes, this week, I will say no to one thing my gut is screaming about. That's the work. All right, now for the woman who trusts spreadsheets more than she trusts synchronicity. You need proof, you need logic, you need hard data before you'll believe anything. Fine, let's collect some data. Think of this as a wedding registry for your real life. You are deciding with cold, hard data what comes into your future and what gets left behind. And see that word resentful? You need to treat that like a 5-alarm fire. Your dream has already flagged the problem. This is just the confirmation you said you needed. But wait, what if the dream isn't about the future at all? For some of you, that wedding dress feels heavy, like it's soaked in grief. So let's talk about healing. If your wedding dreams are haunted, this is for you. And this assignment isn't asking you to relive the pain. It's asking you to finally complete the story. You have to physically destroy it. Why? Because your nervous system is still living in the wedding that broke. Your body has to participate in the release to move from the past into the present, which, by the way, is where your life is actually happening. Okay, now for the woman who's already deep in this. You've been journaling, you've been meditating, you know the language. Your assignment is to go deeper, into the part that doesn't use ordinary language at all. This is not journaling, this is surgery. Using your non-dominant hand is a proven way to get to parts of yourself that your logical brain just can't reach. It can be startling, it can be painful, and it can be profoundly freeing. Discomfort is where integration happens. Do not skip this. Now listen to me. If this is you, the dream is not sending you flowers, it is sending you a deadline. The time for avoiding this is over. Done. Unspoken truths do not just dissolve into thin air. They calcify. They become the wall that both of you can feel, but neither of you can name. You know that conversation feels terrifying precisely because it's important. That's the entire reason you have to have it. You're waiting. You're waiting for the right time, for more money, for the kids to be older. You've been waiting for perfect conditions that will never, ever arrive. Your dream is staging a wedding to your unlived life, and you haven't even bothered to RSVP. That's your number, 72 hours. You are going to choose one goal you've been circling for over 6 months, the business, the course, the move, and you will take the first concrete step. Enroll, register, book it within 72 hours of hearing this. That's it. That is the entire window. 3 days. Do not let it close. And finally, for the woman whose first instinct after doing her own work is to turn around and hold the door open for other women, your call to action is about community. You know, in a world that has made our inner lives so private, so isolated, this is a radical and restorative act. The resonance of women reflecting each other's dreams, that is one of the oldest forms of psychological healing there is. So let's bring this all together. Because this isn't just some interesting psychological exercise. Taking this seriously, it's a matter of saving your own life. Diana spent years trying to decode what her inner life had been screaming at her all along. The work she eventually did, that is the exact work your wedding dream is pointing you toward right now. You have the tools, you have the language, and most crucially, you have time. Use it. Let that sink in for a second. Don't go through the motions of the public wedding while your real self, the one who actually matters, is left behind. It's time to listen.